late evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of great pride to have with me one of the brilliant, young, dynamic, vibrant, versatile business leader of our country, Mr. Nitin Vyas, the managing director and the CEO of a wonderful, small, boutique, but an aggressive German company called Bäumer India Private Limited, to this prime time leadership excellence series called New DNA of Leadership. And it is indeed my honor to welcome Nitin Vyas to this evening show.
Thank you very much, sir, for so kind words. I have been learning from you a lot and hearing so good words, so many adjectives which you used. It's overwhelming. Thank you so much for considering me for this conversation and considering me worth to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen who are right now online or who are going to be joining later or who are going to be watching this YouTube later, let me have a great honor of presenting and introducing this young, dynamic, bright CEO of a German company who is taking this German company forward and India forward at the same time. A senior executive with year to year success, achieving revenues, profits, and business growth. A turnaround specialist and known for creating rapid change environments wherever he has worked, extensive experience with highly engineering systems, highly successful in building relationships with upper level decision makers, seizing control of critical problem areas, problem solving and decision making, as well as delivering customer commitments beyond expectations. Nitin leads and motivates people. And today he has more than 500 people and manage PLN for multiple business divisions exceeding Indian rupees 8 billion in order intake. Nitin has repeatedly produced sustained sales and EBITDA growth in ever-changing, dynamic, and changing markets. And when I was talking before we went live, he said 2020 has been a great year, irrespective of the pandemic and the unprecedented situation in the world. And 21, he said, is going to be much different growth. Nitin has proven achievements in establishing manufacturing setups and GICs in India. When you look at him, he looks very young, even younger than his age. He has a boyish look, but he has a 20 years of experience handling businesses for major multinationals. Half of it was in Singapore and half of it is in India. When you look at Siemens, he worked from 2000 year to 2010. And when you look at Bäumer India, he worked from 2010 till date. Bäumer India is a story of excellence, which we are going to be discussing today. A turnaround Indian rupees 270 million Bäumer Group Indian subsidiary into 7 billion plus in 10 years. What did he do? By diversifying business units around a cohesive commercial and operational strategy, restoring profitability, producing higher than market revenue gains, and winning market share in a strategic, difficult, tough, but emerging markets, and delivering the double-digit EBITDA growth. He led the acquisition of Indian SME and Exco Technologies and integrated Boimer Group that maximized share of strategic markets and evaluated earnings. Nitin restructured operations for maximum cost saving and efficiency. He reversed the losses into profits, serving as a catalyst for change and streamlining the factory operation after takeover. He quickly restored forward momentum, generating high year-on-year revenue gains with maximizing operations. He has been part of Boimer Group, Global Airport Management Team, Global Product Business Center of Competence, with global sales responsibility and part of expert mentors for Boimer Group's digital transformation. Deputed by senior management in India 2008 as one of the youngest business unit head to establish business in the Indian subcontinent as an expat in Indian subcontinent based at Singapore for the infrastructure logistics sector. When you look at him, he is a combination of operations management, acquisitions and integrations, organic business growth, strategic planning, staff managerial leadership development and promotion, performance and quality management system standardization, customer delight and leadership aligns to the development, PL and management and budget planning, engineering and manufacturing, change management as a key driver, commercial and customer support strategic partnership. A guy at 33, young, dynamic, going to the world of globalization and creating something which was not possible at that stage, but it was only Nitin. And Nitin comes from a very small town, which is a hill town in India called Shimla. He studied his master's in business administration, University of Hull, UK, and Bachelor of Engineering Instrumentation and Electronics from Bangalore University, Diploma in Indian Exports Management, Indian Chamber of Commerce, India. He has been recognized with awards, Business Leader of Year, Manufacturing Industry 2018 by Business Television, India CEO of Year 2019 with HR Orientation CII, member of National Executive Council CII and Institute of Logistics IIT Chennai. Oh my God. Boss,
Thank you.
Chota packet, bada dhamaka. I can say that. And it's fascinating. I don't know. I mean, how do you do it? How do you manage all this? And you are today I am going to be asking this question to you, a multi-tasked, multi-skilled, multi-dimensional, multinational personality. Ladies and gentlemen, I think there's going to be a lot of learning in this session for all of us. How does this one man, one persona, Nitin, doing so much and making it possible to be successful for himself, to drive his journey of excellence for himself, and not only for himself, the journey of excellence of the people who are involved with him.
Thank you so much for so kind words and what an amazing introduction. I was myself thinking, is is it what he's saying? Is it really working for me? And Also, I was thinking that I should record this part and use it for later. But thank you so much for putting it, the whole life of mine in such a packet. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming how you explain. Thank you so much.
Nitin, I have known you. I have spent some 2, 3 days with you together on a program called One Dream, One Team. I remember of Weimar, India. In between, I have met you a couple of times, and I want to tell you, Nitin, whenever I had an opportunity of meeting you, your positive vibration of a great leader gives me fascinating to do more in life and become someone who is driving this performance excellence environment. I feel very proud. I feel very honored. And I'm delighted and excited this evening to be with you. Our session is going to be, I will have some questions. There are people who are on various platforms for joining. There will be some questions from them. We would take around, depending on 60 to 70 minutes in total to be on this show. And this show does not end here. It goes on beyond today's, framework, because people will keep on watching this in terms of beyond today, and uh, it will be fascinating.
Thank you so
Ladies
much.
and gentlemen, first of all, again, a great happy new year to you, to your families, to your companies, to your everyone at home and whom you touch every day. Please declare this year, 2021, as one of the best years of your life, and please keep sharing whosoever you meet, interact, write, text, that they should also declare 2021 as one of the best years of life. I have done it, and I'm sure it's going to be 2021, one of the best years of life, because universe will give us back this year, because 2020 has been tough, but even 2020 has been tough. There has been huge learning. That's what we are going to be discussing here. Nitin, my first question to you. When I look at you, absolutely amazing, awesome journey of 2 decades, business excellence leadership, and consistently, continuously and consistently contributing in building growth of role and goal you have taken in hand, I want to go back and I want to understand this talent who comes from a very small hill town in India from Shimla. Tell me about your teachers, because I understand you are son of a teacher. So there's not only teachers available in school, there was a teacher available at home, your mom as a teacher, father as an engineer in a government department from a humble background. How did you grow, and who were the people who impacted you? And I also understand one more thing, which I visibly see, and even during our interactions, I always see you're a very family man, and your family is, you feel proud to be in your family. You love your family. It energizes you. It impacts you. And I had a quick opportunity of meeting Bobby that day, I think last day of the event. And tell me about yourself. How did you grow? Where from we got this chota packet, bada dhamaka?
As you said, I was from a very small town, not a lot of opportunities you get. But the best thing was that we had an extended family over there, and all my uncles, my grandfather, my grandmother, aunts, everybody was nearby, and all my cousins. So we grew up together. So this bonding with the family was very important. Staying with the family was very important since childhood. And how do you work in a big family, an extended family? You The respect for each other automatically comes, humility automatically comes, that you need to uh, stay in this particular environment. It helps you. And when you have so many cousins and all, you don't need a lot of friends. Though I had quite a lot of friends, and so it was there were many role models within the family. So for sure, parents have a big impact on any child. Every child tries to emulate the father or the mother, and I think I have been doing. My mom has a big impact on me. She has been a fighter. She has a huge impact. My dad has an impact. But one of the very strong impacts I had was of my grandfather. So I lost him some 10, 11 years back. He was 90 plus. He was a person of sheer determination and very high discipline. Uh, Come what may, rain or shine, snow or cold, he would not compromise on his routines. At the same time, not disturbing anyone. And that's what how you adjust, adapt as the time changes. You adapt to the time, at the same time not compromising on your discipline. So that had a uh, subconsciously it stayed in, I think, every member of our family, every child who was growing up in front of him. So that had an impact. Nobody knows immediately, but going as you grow up, then you start realizing that there was this person who was never dictating you things, but he was always around you, and you were observing that person, and somehow you start emulating. So that had a great impact, and I'm very thankful that I had such a nice surroundings when I was growing up. And also, as you said, I'm a family man, and I owe a lot to my wife for what I could achieve. If She was more educated than me when we got married, and she helped me study further. She compromised her career to take care of the family and to let me grow in my business field. So it's a family. If the family is with you, you can grow. If you have a stressful family, I think you at least I couldn't have grown.
Wow, that sounds great. And in fact, those people who are today not in joint families, ladies and gentlemen, see the beauty of a joint family. See the beauty of these grandpas and, of course, the parents to making someone very valuable and very value based. And when he talked about his mom and then his grandfather, especially, where he talked about adapting and not compromising. This is precisely a learning on the leadership front in terms of creating that kind of persona when we look at Nitin. I am extremely delighted when he talked about his family, especially his women power at home, who could sacrifice her own career to take care of the family and support Nitin in his professional endeavors. Great respects and salutes to this women power that in order to build family, in order to create family, there are certain sacrifices which are involved, but that is with a clean heart and clean intent. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great learning. And in fact, Lab Singh is saying, and Lab Singh is one of a very great personality. I have met him in one of my programs when I was delivering. Joint family can be supporting and mentoring, and that's where we are there today. Nathan, my second question. I am also told that you spent time in Bhutan where you were a kid. Then you did your engineering from Karnataka. What kind of experiences at that as a child you had while being in Bhutan and from northern India, getting into south of India? The places are different and different cultures, different experience, different habits, different traits, different behaviors. Do you think that kind of an movement from Shimla to Bhutan to south of India and shaping to an engineering graduate helped you to shape up what you are today?
Big time, big time. One of my passions is people and cultures. So I love learning about cultures, cuisines, and as you said, my formative years, my primary education was in Bhutan, and that was uh, when you go there, you are following your parents because they are there, you live. But when you think later, actually, those were one of the best times because geographically it was a different place, a different weather, different temperature. But the amazing thing was the learning about India, the real India, I got when I was already a small child in primaries in Bhutan because it was not a North Indian, a South Indian, a Western Indian, or Eastern Indian was working over there. It was Indians were working together. In one small place, you could get people from Andaman to Lakshadweep, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Arunachal to Gujarat. Every state was covered in one, and suddenly you are exposed to cultures, cuisines, behaviors in such a small time and in such a small group. And that was that learning. I think it got imbibed somewhere that you learned. And uh, going to Karnataka, it was another experience. It's a and over there also when you are studying in a university, in a college, in a school, you have different parts, people from different parts of India coming together, and and then you learn a little bit more and you use that, and that's what I see. And that was, I think, these two were one of the great things for me to learn. And I just give you an example. Like when I hate when I interview and people do not have an understanding of Indian geography, and I tend to ask people, and people suddenly, people who are in, for example, in Tamil Nadu or in Karnataka, for anybody above, starting from Madhya Pradesh upwards, are North Indians. And you ask anybody in Delhi, and people below Madhya Pradesh are South Indians. I don't like that. And when you ask, the knowledge of young kids on the Indian geography and cultures is so weak. And for me, one of the greatest experiences used to be this 30 hours train journey from Karnataka to Delhi. And I'll give you an example. In train, the guy in Bangalore used to start selling, same guy from the pantry, he used to start selling potato cutlets, and he used to start selling that potato cutlets. The moment the train used to reach central part of India, he used to change the same product and start selling as aloo bonda. The moment train used to touch Agra, the same product used to become aloo tikki. It was, and the same person. And when you travel, you learn the experience. I tell to many young guys, I said, if you want to learn about people, about culture, when you graduate, you to another corner of India. Don't sit in an AC class, go in a sleeper class. Spend these 30, 40 hours in train. You will learn more than any book can teach you. So these were great examples to learn about cultures, people, and then you are able to manage, organize things with different people, different nationalities, different regions, different religions, and that helps you. Understanding is important.
Beautiful. That is the words what a leader is speaking, that he loves people, culture, and cuisine. And when you combine cuisine, culture, and people, and you are becoming part and parcel of this PCC, that is where your leadership strengths become more and more stronger. And one more example he gave about an individual in 30 hours train changing his product, suiting vocally and locally.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely vocally and locally. That is global turned into global. Wow, wow. Nitin, I am enjoying this talk with you. Nitin, I come to your corporate journey now. how did I went through your complete details where I knew about your Siemens. How did you really land in Siemens? How was your first job? And 10 years, because in today's date, when I see in an environment, ladies and gentlemen, you are all looking at this, that people change jobs 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. But I have here a guy, 10 year, a leadership guy at one job and another job, 11 years. That means the strength, the putting, the foundation is so strong to deliver the beautiful results. So I must salute you for spending this time and in one company. And tell me, how did you have this beautiful journey going strong all the way for 10 years? And this is very important for all of us to understand. How did you have that fresh mind, nurtured, empowered to become a solid professional like you? We are very keen, me as well as the attendees who will be watching you or who are watching you, to understand this journey of Siemens. How did you land and what did you do?
Seems it was I think uh, formative times for the career, and it's an amazing company. It's an amazing company. I owe a lot to Siemens because they never created sales managers or project managers or procurement managers. They always created business managers. They were grooming people to be business manager, not just one side. And they it was such an ocean that you if you are willing to take challenges, you can be given challenges every few years, and which keeps you motivating. And when I talk to young guys who are in early 20s, when I meet them and I ask them when they are talking to take the job, I say, what's your objective? Your objective is salary or a challenge? So for me, I think I was able to manage so long years because it's my objective was not getting the salary increment year on year. As of till date, I have not asked salary increment to any of my bosses because my objective was to ask for task and responsibility. Something, if I have been given some task, if I have improved that, I'll move out. I'll create a space for somebody which I was doing earlier and move forward. So money and salary is a resultant of the work which you do. So when people start asking for salaries, they try to block their career. And what I've seen, those who try to keep changing the jobs for just increments, their careers plateau at the age of 35, 36 from 20s. If they start chasing challenges and tasks and responsibilities, their career will shoot up after 35, and money is should never be a motive. And this is what I keep telling young people. You have to be very clear what's your priority. The day you set your priority money, your career will stop at and that's what Siemens taught. And it was an amazing company where we me and many of my colleagues who are now doing so good in their life careers outside Siemens, I think we all have quite a common thing, that the learnings which we had from our first company Siemens. And I it was so one of my mentors says that why I landed up in Siemens. It's an amazing story. I mean, it might sound cliche now, but he said that I sent you as a very young guy. You was one of the youngest guy to Singapore to Siemens for a project because I saw you one morning. You were to do the commissioning of the machine, but you were before the customer was coming. You were ready, but you didn't have any work, so you were cleaning the floor. You were sweeping the floor so that customer sees the floor clean. And he didn't tell me this till 2012 when he told this to my wife. This was the reason why I landed up in Siemens. So this was the real reason that I was cleaning the floor. So it sounds cliche, but yes, no job is big, no job is small. If you think you can improve somewhere, do it.
Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, are you watching the real dynamic person who is a business leader at a level where he is building organization in billions of Indian rupees or billions of dollars, and the man is talking about simple, basic leadership traits of becoming a great leader. Related to this, I have this question. When you were hired, you were asked to be in Singapore as one of the youngest business leader. I have known and I have heard that you are a man of details and plans. You dig deep. You digging makes you different than any other business leader. How did you manage the cultural integration? How did you manage the acceptance of a young professional in a very strong, robust seeming? It's tough, it's not easy, where people spend 20, 25 years and they're very strong, they're robust. So how did you manage the cultural integration, being an Indian at a young age? How did you manage acceptance in the robust, strong professionals who are there for so many years, decades? And how did you manage customer centricity? And how did you manage incredible bottom line numbers? What is that made you to do things different as a business leader on these four areas? These are four questions, but I just want to put it together into one question.
So both places. When I was very young, I was just a individual contributor in Singapore. So it's easy. You focus on your work. Have less distraction. When I was young, when I was studying, I was not very focused, and I was not a great achiever in school and college. So it came later, the realization. And when I was in Siemens, the realization was there, and focus on the work, do your work right, and but also understand who are your stakeholders within the organization, and they come from different culture, different backgrounds. Understand that, don't judge that, respect those, because there is a reason for why certain things are happening. And customer centricity, I was once told by one of my earlier supervisors, earlier bosses. uh, he said, you know, our salaries are paid by our customers, so they need to be taken care of. If you don't take care, but at the cost of taking care of them, do not spoil or kill your company. You have to manage both. You have to ensure your customer is satisfied, delighted, he is getting more than what he's expected, but at the same time, you are not compromising on the deliverables of the company with respect to quality, cost, safety. So I think these things helped me to establish myself in a different environment. But anyway, Singapore is a very cosmopolitan place, so it was not very difficult. The difficulty though was when I was sent to India. I was 33 years old, and I was maybe naive. I was very young, too excited, and wanted to change the world, create things all at same time. And but that was a great lesson, great learning when I had over here. It was I had to prove myself in front of all my peers, because they had much more experience than I had. They had given much more years to the organization than I had given, and I had to prove myself, and I could only prove with my work, with the result, not by anything else. And that's staying focused on that. So nobody can take away the hard work when you do. It's you can be lucky to be there, you can be fortunate to be there, but after that, what? After that, it's only the hard work, the details of what you can do. And also, one of the greatest lessons was that, which stays with me till date, is what do you build first, an organization or a business? If you wait for the business to develop and then start building the organization, you'll burn the business. If you build the organization before the business, then organization will kill the business. So you have to balance that. When the business is growing, organization is adapting to that. And that was the greatest lesson I had in my work life, balancing organization and business.
Fascinating, amazing. That is the lesson of a leadership. And the leader, Nitin, is talking about how do you balance between the organization and the business. And second important thing which came from him, which is very, very beautiful, is that when you are growing in the organization, you take care of many things and you need to be adaptable. You need to be adaptable. And he probably, with the background, the family background where he had learned the adaptability with the grandfather, that still carries on in his DNA to be adaptable in any of the environment. Nitin, I'm coming to another question. When you come to Weimar, India, and in Weimar, India, from Singapore as an expat coming to India, and India working with this German company, many challenges, but you tried to do it from scratch, amalgamating the two companies, creating and crafting one culture, one team. So challenges would have been immense. I would like to know how did you go, grow, and glow? I remember only small one dream, one team I did with you. Maybe that was also of some help in
I
some
think
way.
that was a big catalyst in bringing the teams together. Very big catalyst. If not for that, it would have taken additional couple of years. That was a big catalyst.
Thank you so much. What were the other challenges when you are amalgamating the companies and making these companies to be together? And as you rightly said in your previous response, while your salary is being paid by the customer, we need to keep delighting and exciting the customer, but at the same time, we need not to compromise on the cost, quality, delivery, so far as organization concerned. This little journey, and within a short period of time, making it possible that you are today 7 billion plus. How much is it?
700 crores.
700 crores. 700 crores Indian rupees today. How did you do this?
I think a lot goes to the ethos, values, and culture of Boyman Group. Boyman Group is a long-term oriented company, and as our vision statement of our chairman is that Boyman, we are looking for a long-term success and not short-term profit. And the word "not" is a very definitive word over here. So we are a independent company, and we don't have pressures from the stock market and shareholders to give a continuously growing graph of profitability and revenue quarter on quarter. And that's what our chairman says, that you have to run the race, you have to run the sprint with all your efforts. It doesn't matter whether you come first or not. It's the intent. It's the intent with which you ran is more important than winning the race. If your intent is good, you're putting your all effort, you will win it. So this was the thing. But when we started, another thing which I believe, which uh, I did, which helped me, and which I believe anybody who changes the job, goes to the new company, the first mistake many of people do is they start comparing the company where they come in by the previous company. They start comparing the processes, the people, the behavior with and that's the first mistake. You need to bring the experience, but what worked in your earlier company not necessarily will work for you, the new company, because the structure, the way of working, everything is different. So you need to keep that learning with you and then adapt that learning for the new environment. And that's what helped the great learning from a great company, bringing it to Boimer. But in Boimer, then understanding Boimer, and then taking time to develop one business after another. And every business, when you want to develop from scratch, it takes 2 to 3 years. One needs to be very patient. It's not instant. Currently, it's an instant gratification age. I do something, I need a result. So this instant gratification does not happen in a business. In business, you need to be patient. On day zero, day one, day two, day three, you will not get results. But you have to be persistent. Your perseverance comes in play. You have to stay focused on what you want to do. You have a master plan, keep doing it, but keep adjusting it as you see the environment touching it. And then one business after another. And don't try to uh, rush into the business. Try to see there is a market, but am I able to serve the market in the long term? Can I deliver it? After delivering, can I have the support for customer, or I'll deliver and go out? So it has to be the long term orientation that helps to have a sustainable business, and then you can keep on developing any new business, any new markets. And I think it's people who do this for you, and if you are able to bring them onto the organization culture. And this was one of the toughest times for me was when we acquired an Indian SME, a very good Indian SME. They were doing very good, and then Voimer takes over. So what can you do? You impose your way of doing and you will crush it. You need to amalgamate, you need to bring that culture, those people to align with the culture and come into one culture, one behavior, one thought process. Then you will be successful. And that needs time. You need time to bring, and that's where one dream one team work which we did with you few years back. That time I think we kept a target of what, 300 or 400 crore rupees, and but that was overachieved. But the thing was, it was only to bring the cultures of two organizations to the right culture of Boimer Group. That culture is working perfectly for Boimer, may not be for some other company, but we need to align to that. And you can't force, you have to bring it. And that was the most fascinating, most rewarding, and most challenging part of my career.
Wow. How brilliantly, how beautifully this business leader is sharing about creating a culture. And one important factor comes to us. Great respects to Mr. Weimer in case he is going to be watching this YouTube. And his message to his business leaders is long term success and not, repeat, and not short term profits. I repeat, Mr. Boimer, Ethan Morgan, Alice Clark want long term success, not, repeat, not short term profits. That is the message of an entrepreneur driven organization given to his business leaders. And that is where people like Nitin really work hard to deliver long term and short term profits as well. And I am also told, and I also know Nitin as a people person, at a complete lineup of people person in the entire organization. And another thing which I know is that he and his CFO, his name is Rajneesh Magan, they work together hand in hand because this Mr. Rajneesh Magan is again ex-Siemens. He is a finance guy as well as taking care of human resources. Nitin, and you need to work with your key people so strongly to deliver the unchartered, unparalleled business performance. Because when we were doing one dream, one team, we had taken a figure in hand. He has almost doubled that figure. That is where people philosophies, people connectivity, people processes, and people motivation and people getting together makes a difference to excellent organization to go into the next orbit of excellence. Nitin, I'm envying you. Nitin, wow. Right now, you certainly are known as a turnaround specialist, creating this 270 million Weimar group into an 700 crore, 7 billion in 10 years. Also, you have been part of Weimar Group's global airport management team, global products business center of competence, and so on and so on. I have to ask you, how do you feel today when you have achieved so much? And how do you see yourself as a multitask, multi-skilled, multinational, multidimensional, multi-versatile, dynamism person? What do you tell the leaders of businesses who are suffering, and especially when we are talking about COVID days, that what kind of traits, behaviors, and benchmarks they should have in their leadership?
I'm a eternal optimist. So when the COVID gloom and doom started last year, and there was one webinar after another about COVID, and people were talking about the world is going to end and all, I intentionally dropped off the grid. Somewhere in May, I said I'm not going to spend my time talking only about COVID. I need to see the positivity, where the positive things are. As I said, I'm an eternal optimist. I try to look positivity around and try to grab it and move forward. So it's like when on 23rd March, when everything was locked down, somewhere in mid-April, we started planning we need to restart. And 20th April, we restarted our factory. Uh, and uh, and then we moved, started our office 8th May. And that's what I said that don't create anxiety, don't get anxious. Convert this anxiousness to caution. Get cautious, not anxious. And don't try to adjust to this new COVID thing. This is here for long. So move your adjustment to adoption. The earlier you adopt, better you will be equipped to handle. So in the journal, in a short, I can say, if you are adjusting yourself, you will not do justice to your job. Whether it's a normal time or pandemic time or good business or bad business, don't adjust, don't compromise. Try to adapt to situation without compromising on certain values which you stand for, certain values which you stand for. And uh, and be careful, be cautious. It's good to be careful, cautious, uh, but don't get anxious on all the things. And whether you are in a state of gloom or doom, or everything is good, still, uh, keep innovating yourself. Try to improve uh, from yesterday to today. So many a times I tell, don't try to compete with somebody else. Don't try to compete with your peer, with your try to compete with yourself. Can you beat yourself yesterday of yourself today? If you keep beating yourself, you will keep improving. So for me, uh, uh, a business leader, I wrote somewhere, a business leader, a janitor can be a business leader, and a CEO can be business leader in their task. If a task of a janitor is done immaculately, perfectly, he's a good leader. He's a leader of his task. Be a leader of your task. People will come together.
Be a leader of your task, people will come together. Ah, lovely. Nitin, the way I see you and your journey, and you are sharing out the thought processes of the beautiful experience you had 2 decades. I call you as a CLO, not as a CEO, because I have been promoting this concept that change the designation of CEO to CLO. Because the moment CLO, the CEO learns himself, the entire organization learns. And I remember when I was conducting program for you, you were totally involved into this. What I am trying to talk here is that When the role of a CEO becomes CLO, like you are a CLO, I will never call you CEO. How is that, you be proud of continuous excellence, customer centricity, people processes, products, community, profits, and pride? Is there, I am specifically talking about here now. India is emerging to be one of the greatest country in the world. And one side we have seen India when we were in 2020 around April to June, uh, entire Western world thought about India is going to be into disastrous situation because 1.4 billion people cannot handle this. And there are many issues in the country, the masses, and it will go to the masses. But India turned out to be something different. Companies like you started doing things different and regenerating and rebuilding. And within now, when you see the videos of 1 year and now, today India is the pharma factory of the world. 90 countries are waiting for vaccination. When I see CEO to CLO, why I'm raising this question, I am seeing SME, huge SMEs who have suffered also during the pandemic. How do you tell these SMEs? Because I do work with a lot of SMEs. We still have issues with some of the owners. Oh, no, I cannot spend money on learning and development. How do you tell them what impacts creating a learning organization to a business excellence organization?
I think learning is one thing which should never stop in the whole lifetime. Whether you are working, whether you are retired, whatever you are doing, you can keep on learning, and learning should not stop. For us, we believe in big learning. And first of all, I don't believe in designations of CEOs and this and that. And a person who is continuously learning will deliver more than what anybody else. Uh, we and learning should go beyond individual, beyond your organization. And we are trying to create over here in our organization that I should do learning for my people, myself, but in addition, what are my stakeholders? Create a network around our company. Have your suppliers, have your institutes nearby, bring them in the ecosystem of learning. If they can come to our premises or we can go to their premises and start teaching them, keep learning, we will also benefit when the ecosystem becomes. And for India to succeed and take advantage of the opportunity which lies in front of India, most important thing is learning new trades, learning this vocational training. You will find in many factories, many industries, there are people who are doing things, who are manufacturing things. They know what they are doing, but they do not know why they are doing, because there has not been any learning about why. It has been only about what they have to do. And the day they will learn why they are doing, the what will become very easy. And
Wow.
I'll take one example, which I recently in the town hall meeting of our company said in the first town hall meeting of this year. Create a culture of learning from your failures.
Wow.
And if you are able to accept your failure, the first step to solve a problem is accepting a problem, accepting a failure. The moment you do that, you learn from that. And there is a very nice book, which is a book called Black Box Thinking. It gives an analogy of aircraft having black boxes to record everything which happens on the aircraft, not to find who did wrong, not to penalize, but to learn so that tomorrow another disaster in aviation does not happen. And that's what we need as organization, to find out ways to learn when we are failing and accept that failure and learn from that and move forward. And that's very, very important if we want to grow as a nation, as an industry, as an organization.
So many lessons of leadership. Amazing. I think it's a very important learning day for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. The way Nitin is sharing his thought process on learning and, failures is where we learn more. And every time we fail, we take it as an experience and learn out of it and go to the next level of excellence. Nitin, my last question, I just want to quickly, because I have a lot of questions coming in from the attendees. Now, one side I see Atmanirbhar India, India becoming Atmanirbhar, global talent locally and vocally. And I saw in last 48 hours, first Indian military aircraft being uh, coming from Tatas. And I see 42% of our GDP with SMEs again. Will you be able to throw some light with one country getting isolated? I don't want to name the country, while as Indian talent and Indian business owners have the biggest opportunity. Somebody is already knocking on the door to get into India because India has the ability of one side IT number one and now pharma number one. Other products, manufacturing hub of the world, especially on quality, cost, delivery, and customer centricity. What is your message to Indian business owners? And this can be for SMEs.
Yeah. And you said four things, and these are the four things we are missing in SMEs in manufacturing. India has a great opportunity. We moved from agriculture straight away to services. We missed the bus of manufacturing, and when we look at the manufacturing markers or manufacturing data, it generally boils down to automotive. And if I take the automotive example, the SMEs related to automotive are delivering quality consistently. They are able to deliver. They are able to get the cost. But in automotive, in other industries, there are very less in manufacturing in India, which are able to do consistent quality again, and delivery on time. But until we are able to achieve the quality and the cost and the commitment to delivery, we will not succeed in manufacturing. We are amazing talent. We developed this thought of jugaad, which are amazing. But unfortunately, the problem is this jugaad becomes permanent solution. We have to change our mindset that this jugaad is only the starting point, and then we convert into something good, which is permanent of high quality. Because we suffer as a country with a syndrome of temporarily permanent. We do things temporarily which become permanent, whether on the roadside. This temporarily permanent things has to go away. We have to stop accepting things temporary, which we start believing and living with those temporary things, that this is now part of life, chalta hai. Unless this psyche, it has to change at the social level, then only it can come at the manufacturing level. And second, if manufacturing has to succeed, we have the biggest weapon with us is the consumer. We have to first serve our consumer. If you look at the automotive market, which is exporting now, they didn't start with exporting. They started delivering to Indian consumer and started improving their quality. When their quality was so good, so consistent, they started exporting. We can do same in the manufacturing. Remember, you have a consumer in India which is willing to pay for a quality. If you are able to serve that customer locally by local manufacturing, this local will go global and you will become global. But we have to have a social change of quality. The same Indian, when he reaches Singapore, he's disciplined on the road. When that Indian is driving on Indian roads, he drives like morons. Sorry for the word, but that's how it is. Unless as a society we stop accepting temporary things, we will not achieve what we can achieve. We have a huge potential, but as a society, we have to change. That's what I feel, and we can be not only Atmanirbhar, Vishwa will be Nirbhar on us.
Wow. I am in total agreement. A social change, a cultural change, a mindset change. And even when I was addressing the youngest town today at one of the business schools in the afternoon, I said this youngest town has to build the new India. And youngest town can build with new India when even in the curriculum of the schools, of the colleges, is where we need to talk about discipline. Beautiful. Last quick question. I run this hashtag Women Power a Global Movement. 1 million people to be on this platform by 2021 and 5 million by 2024, irrespective of caste, creed, nationality, religion, and color. How are women? You talked about your own women power. How about you? Are you giving a lot of importance to women in your organization to come forward, take positions, and especially supervisory and leadership positions? Because women are going to be the differentiators of building nation and building the global world.
So I have no second thoughts about that. That women uh, in work in every place is it plays so important role. You empower one woman, you educate one woman, you are basically educating the whole family. That one single woman will help rest not to go uneducated. And when you bring the woman at work, it helps the company with a completely different thought process. Diversity is very important. And I believe it's when you look at the United Nations list for the top 10 items which are important for the climate change, on number six, it's the women empowerment and women upliftment. So United Nations also not about getting the electric cars. Women is higher than electric cars to help even the climate change. So and we should be ashamed of ourselves as males that we have ignored the better gender for so long. It is important the power goes into the hands and they can empower more. If you look at the microfinance industry in Bangladesh, how it worked, it was successful because the money was given to the women. They can be trusted more. They were delivering, they were happy. In many of the other social schemes, when the benefit goes to the women, it is much better percolating to the society than to anybody else. So it is, I think it should be a mission of every single human being, every single male to bring women to the forefront. And I think I saw your some of the messages, some of the things that yeah, women empowerment and 50 million, if I'm not wrong, 5 million or 50 million by 2024. I think it is an audacious goal, but if we have to do some change in society, we need to have audacious goals. I know one woman, and the one lady named Miss Safina Hussain. She runs an NGO called Educate Girls, and it is all about having an audacious goal and going for it, achieving that. It is about girl. It is about women.
Beautiful. SDG goal number 5 of United Nations is gender equality and women empowerment. And I have had the honor of working with a lot of women around the world on the United Nations Women Power. and hopefully we are going to be taking it forward. Thank you so much. A lot of questions coming in. And the question number one, I am taking it from Melanie from Spain, is asking, Mr. Nitin, how you are able to do so much together in one go? Can you give us thoughts on your energy?
My family, my team, my colleagues. I'm surrounded by much smarter people than me. They are much better than me, and it's always good to have smarter people around you and more smarter than you. Then you can they can take the load of you and work for you and deliver something which is really good. And I think it's all to the team, to my colleagues, to my peers, and to my family. The energy I draw from my family and the work, the smart colleagues what I have. It's always good to have smarter people around you, much smarter than yourself.
There's one question coming from Vinod Taneja. Vinod Taneja is asking, you have shared about your family power many times. What is your message to millennials who do not believe in family culture and they want to remain away from family? What's your message to them? Vinod Taneja ji.
I don't understand those people because uh, why do you what are you doing? Because it's such a wonderful thing to have a family. It's such a wonderful thing to have people around you who care for you. It's important when you are down and when the chips are down. You need a family to put your head on their shoulder. If you don't have, you'll break down. So for me, it's important, and in a life there will be a lot of declines. Lot of declines will happen in the life. It's good to hear that things have worked out for me, but I don't think so. There has been a lot of declines, and when the decline happens in life, this limits your choices and opportunities. And but if you have family, friends, they will back you up. And I believe I know for sure when I was down, my chips were down. If I didn't have my dad behind me, I would have broken down. And that's where the family who is always there unconditionally. Other people will be there with conditions with for reason. Family is the only one which is unconditional behind you. So it's important, at least for me.
Very, very powerful response. No, it's not only for you, it's for any one of us. And I think it's a message, ladies and gentlemen, to those who believe in being away from family or avoiding families. The family power is the biggest power in life. I am unmuting Mr. Lab Singh. He wants to raise some question on the Zoom. You can raise the question yourself. Mr. Lab Singh, nice to see
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bakshi. It has been a wonderful session. I have been all through, and I fully agree with Mr. Nitin Vyas that family has to play a great role. I fully agree with him, and I myself belong to a joint family. We are four brothers, and I'm a retired government officer. And throughout the career, I have enjoyed the support of my family at each occasion. And what I want to add is that I am from a rural background. So the in the childhood, whatever you experience in that very environment, you play all kind of rural games, and then you even help your parents to to bring to take care of the animals and cattle. So at lower level, and when you particularly study in a village school, so you really come out of many of the qualities and the values which normally you don't get in other setups. So I mean, these are the environments. If you are grown up in that, then you definitely come out with as a great person. So I fully agree with you. And one small question was that how Mr. Nitin creates a balance between his family life and his business life. So that if he can kindly clarify. Thank you so much. Grateful
Thank
once
you for
again.
so nice words, Mr. Singh. It's very simple. I don't interfere in family matters. I am not the leader of the family. That's being led by someone in my family, and I contribute. I try to contribute, and so I think to have a balance, it's like uh, it's uh, you have to, if you see a bullock cart or a tanga, it has got two wheels. And if you consider these two wheels as one is family, one is business, your life is a bullock cart. The cart can only move if both the wheels are moving in sync. If one wheel, which is of family, it's moving faster, and other wheel is business, which is not moving in the right, so it both cannot move together. The bullock cart will not move, the tanga will not move. It can, and these are the two wheels of family and business. And till we accept that these have to work in sync, it doesn't matter if the same person is leading the family and the business, or there are two people, but it need to be in sync to move the life of which is a bullock cart further. So that's what I would
Thank
say.
you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you for joining. Lav Singh ji has been the assistant director in the department of
Telecommunication.
telecommunications. I was invited once to address them on roadmap to success, maybe 4 or 5 years back, and he was.
I still remember, sir. I was the chief general manager at J&K, so it has been our honor to be with us, and that was one of the very rare occasions that we have listened to such a great, mentor and power speaker. I would say, thank you so much.
We
Grateful.
have been in touch since then, and thank you very much for joining. And I have
Thank
another
you, sir.
question coming from Mr. Vivek Harkoli. I am unmuting you. And
Good evening, Mr. Vyas. Good evening,
Vivek
VK
is,
Bakshi.
Vivek is one of our wonderful, well-known business directors. We had an opportunity of working together in Asia, America, and Europe. And he's again a go-getter. And today he works for another company. And 25 years he has been away from India. Well-known person in that industry. Vivek, over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Bakshi. Good evening, Mr. Vyas.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
sir. Good evening, sir.
It's always a pleasure to listen to the guests whom Bakshi has invited, and I think one of those few occasions I have rarely missed a session. I've had some great takeaways from today. What you said, Mr. Vyas, and these are, as you rightly said, journey of people and culture through the train. It's a great learning experience. Another thing, the bonda story or the cutlet story that you said, and I translate into business. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you differentiate a product? The third learning which I have is choose challenges and tasks, and that's very important message that you gave. Fourth, intent is very important, and I put it in the different words. It's honesty of purpose, which is there.
Exactly. Thank you so much for this.
And last but not the least, bring in knowledge to organization and do not impose the processes from another organization. And I think this is something which is
Very
great
beautiful.
that
Are
I
you
have
very
learned
good?
from. Now I have two questions.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
One, we talk of this is the culture of the organization. Honestly, I don't understand what is the meaning of culture. I have my own thoughts of what is the culture of organization. But I'd like to hear from you, Nitin. How do you define a culture? That's the first question. The second, I was looking at your website. I see a lot of difference between the product groups that you have, from airport luggage handling system to form, fill, and seal. Now, these are two entirely different product groups. What was the reason behind? I believe it was an amalgamation from one group to another, one company to another. Now, how do you manage? How does the organization manage a food processing industry to a luggage handling industry? I mean, two are entirely different. So perhaps you could throw some more light on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, sir, and thank you for summarizing in 4 points the whole session. Thank you so much, and uh, uh, teaching one very nice word, honesty of purpose, changing by intent. Uh, so, coming to your first question, the culture. It's it's a it's something which is not you can touch and feel for the people who like to touch and feel them. It's a different, it's, in my opinion, it's a behavior of an organization. How do you behave when certain thing happens? Different companies have a different behavior towards the customer or the stakeholders or towards their own employee. So what is your behavior? And that's your culture. Do you, are you respectful to your factory worker as well as you are respectful to your senior most leadership member? Is your respect differentiating between the two? If your ethics differentiating between the two? And that differentiates between the behavior of one company to another. And that's, for me, is a culture of an organization. How do you behave when somebody rings a bell at your home and comes inside? How does a young 5 years old kid or 8 years old kid behave when somebody knocks on your door? And how a 30-year-old person of that house behaves and how a 80-year-old person of that house behave? Every house has a different behavior. If the behavior is consistent of 5-year-old, 30-year-old, and 80-year-old, that's the culture of that particular house. I'm not saying it's a good culture or bad culture, but that is the culture that works for that house, may not be for another house. And they have a different behavior when somebody, and that's, for me, is a behavior of an organization and a culture. And it has it has to come out from your all corporate communication, your corporate values, corporate missions, corporate behaviors, if you have listed down. So we have, for example, 5 core values, 6 golden rules of doing business, 9 leadership principles, and these amalgamates into one corporate behavior. And for us, the behavior of a gatekeeper to the CEO has to be same. And that's the organization of culture. And that, for me, I think in every organization, it varies. And they have this culture. That's, for me, a culture. The second question, if I can recall back, the second question was in relation to diversity in our business. So primarily, the industries are different, but we are mainly material handling system people. We are an intra-logistics company. So within the 4 walls, whatever you are moving, whether it is bulk material or a discrete material, we do. So if it is a mine, we can move the material from quarry to the plant, which will have a distance of, say, 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers. We can have a very specialized high-speed conveyors to move that, bring the carbon footprint down by not using trucks. And at the same time, on the other extreme, on the logistics and on the airports, which is a discrete material, luggage or parcels, we are moving, but we are only moving material. In between, we are having the packing and loading machines, which are also primarily moving the bulk material into discrete and then loading it. So we are primarily material handling people. We know how to move the material, whether it are granules, whether it is fine dust, or it is a piece of luggage or a small piece of parcel which you get from your Amazons or Flipkarts.
Thank you very much. It was good to hear. So basically, if I understood correctly, it's the ethos in an organization, which is probably the culture. I'm just trying to make it simple. And two, as you rightly said, you move material. It could be a food item packed, or it could be a baggage handling. I appreciate your time, Mr. Vyas. Thank you very much, and thank you, Bakshi.
Thanks a
Thank
ton,
you so much.
Vivek.
Thank you so much, sir.
We have another question coming in. Rohit Kapoor Sahab, I am unmuting you. Please go ahead and ask the question yourself. Mr. Rohit Kapoor.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. Sorry, good evening, sir. Just I was going through the initial discussion when you started your Bhutan journey. So, can you throw some light, sir? How was the experience over there? What was the atmosphere? And suddenly, from northeastern Bhutan to this Noida, Gurgaon, and then so young at the age of 40, 45, you achieved such a lot. That's something so that we can get some insights onto it. Because from Bhutan to this Gurgaon is something correlation was something very astonishing actually.
No, it was only a few years in Bhutan, and I think I had a great time over there as a kid, and it exposed me to different cultures of India, and I was very close to West Bengal. So
Yes.
till date, I think those great memories are still with me. I can still understand a little bit of Bangla and little bit I can speak a little bit with Bangla. So I think my passion is a little bit cultures and different cultures and regions. So it keeps me excited and I think with respect to the achieving thing, I think it happens. You are not the one who does the thing. It's many people around you. I had three or four mentors. I was very fortunate to have very good bosses who shaped and gave me opportunity. And I believe every single human being gets an opportunity in life. Many a times we start calculating whether to take or not, and that's where the opportunity moves out or goes to somebody else. And it is our willingness, our risk appetite to grab that opportunity when it comes. So possibly I was at right time, right place, and was helped by right people around me.
Thank
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. I can't take all questions. Nitin, you just see the timing is out of hands. But I
Yeah.
have Jennifer from Malaysia asking a question. Mr. Nitin, are you in Malaysia as well? I cannot see much of Boimer Corporation in Malaysia. Any plans in Malaysia?
So we have an office in Thailand. So Boimer Thailand operates for whole of Southeast Asia, ASEAN region for bulk material handling. So we have done jobs in Malaysia. So Malaysia, we have for Petronas, we have done some big jobs, and even for Vale, we have done big jobs near JB. So we are quite active in Malaysia, and Singapore, we have an office primarily taking care of our airport business in Southeast Asia. So ASEAN countries, we are very much active. Uh, we have no intentions and plans as of today to set up an office in Malaysia, but Malaysia is handled out of our Thailand office.
Thank you so much. Tina, quickly, your last question because I need to close the session. Ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing we are already beyond how many minutes? My God, 60. Oh, so 80 minutes, beyond 80 minutes. And still people are asking questions. Tina, quick question.
Very good evening, sir. Hello, sir. Myself, Tina.
Good
It
evening,
was
ma'am.
indeed a great experience hearing you. As you rightly said, that culture plays a very important role in behavior of leaders who are performing across cultures. Very well explained. As of now, I don't have any questions, but the question that strike my mind, see, if we compare the leadership behavior of two nations, India and other nations, let it be any nation, US, UK, China, Korea, etc., etc. If we compare the behavior of two nations, what, according to you, I mean, as per your experience, you have traveled across cultures, you have worked in various setups. So, if you compare other national managers with Indian nationals, so what is your take on the behavioral patterns of Indian nationals? Whether we, like my study, or I have studied various research papers that reveals that Indian nationals are more compassionate and exhibit more charismatic leadership behavior as compared to other nationals. So, what is your take on this? I mean, as a leader.
Before you say, Nitin, I want to correct myself. I would like to call Tina as Dr. Tina, but recently she has been awarded doctorate, and I feel proud of Tina to become doctor now.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Bakshi, sir. But seriously, honestly, bluntly saying, I think these degrees, these doctorate, these DSCs, as sir rightly said, these are just the receipt we get for the fee we paid. The real education, the real learning begins afterwards. And life is itself a big teacher. And every day we learn something, so I think PhD has, yes, made me a complete human being. And as far as doctor is concerned, yes, it is really, that feeling is priceless. But I think learning never ends. I think I have started learning and living now after PhD. So this is, I mean, my take on the doctorate. Let it be, हम कितना भी qualify कर ले अपने आप को, कितनी भी educational degrees हमारे पास हो, but still we are incomplete, because real education begins when you achieve that sense of self actualization, and a lot miles to go before, you know
You,
many miles to go.
Dr. Tina, I have to call you. I have to get a habit of calling you Dr. Tina. Okay, Nitin, you
Thank you.
Right. So
Thank you. Thank
congratulations, Dr. Tina, and I think it was quite humbling to hear you. It's the,
you.
I think, humility in you which was speaking, that even after achieving so much of things, and you were talking about the degree as a receipt of your fee.
Yeah.
These amazing thoughts and values are the one which takes people way ahead than the crowd, way above the crowd, and I think congratulations.
Thank you.
Coming to your question with respect to Indians as leaders, I think Indians have showed their mental across the globe, across the industry, that they can be great leaders. Uh, Surely compassionate, but also can deliver business results which are there. Uh, as a so the top corporates globally, you find a lot of Indians leading it. They are amazing leaders. Uh, we can have more leaders globally, I believe, because one of the biggest trait we have is our adaptability to the situations, to the needs of the business. But at the same time, one of the lacking many of us have is uh, we are not strong enough, stringent enough with uh, our ideas. We are willing to accept uh, things too easily, and I think this perseverance and resolve to stay focused on what we have to achieve can make much more leaders from India. We are already very successful as Indians across the globe with big corporates as leaders, but they can be much more.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And that's why foreign nationals are more authentic in their leadership behavior. This is also, one of the reasons. Thank
Because
you.
we start adjusting, we don't have to adjust. We should adopt and stay focused on our resolve.
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, Dr. Tina. When are you coming to Noida? Look forward to seeing you. I am
Sir,
unmuted.
surely, sir,
I am
whenever I'll be there, I'll let you know,
uh,
without fail.
I am
Thank you, sir.
okay. I'm unmuting Rajendra Kumar. This last question now. I cannot take more. Mr. Rajendra Kumar, quick question. I am unmuting you, sir. Where is Mr. Rajendra Kumar? You can go ahead with your question, Rajendra Kumarji. Hello? Are you there? Okay, it seems he is not there. Okay, ladies, are you there? Hello?
I think not there, not there.
Okay, okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need to close the program. In order to close the program with someone whom I admire, and today's talk has been more admiring, Nitin, nurturing, intelligence, talented individual naturally. Nitin, nurturing intelligence, talented individual naturally. I would like my global talent director, Thailand, in Narula. He is a Thai Sikh born there, fourth generation in Thailand, and request him to propose vote of thanks on behalf of global talent. In Savati Kap, you have not met Boimer. Next time you are in India, we will certainly, I will take you to Boimer and meet Nitin. So please go ahead with your vote of thanks. We close fast.
Savatika, Mr. Narula.
We can see Varsha.
Hello.
And
No. Namaskar ji, Dr. Bakshi. Can you hear me,
yes, yes,
sir?
can.
Yes. Sawadee krap, Dr. Bakshi, and great salute. And Sawadee krap, Mr. Nitin. It has been
Sawadee krap, ma'am.
great discourse.
You have to unmute yourself.
And okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Oh, I'm upside down. I hope it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yes. Anyway, one thing before I even go on, Nitin, Vyas, we would like to invite you over to Thailand simply because you are a great leader and we can learn a lot from you, especially kids and business leader of this country. You have been very successful, and I can take that measurement from the way you were speaking to all the audiences. The language that you used was simple and easy to understand. Great leaders communicate in a language that everyone can understand. Bravo to you. Hats off, sir. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
The concept, the business concept was simply put forward in a very understanding, down-to-earth way that even I said, wow, here he comes, a great leader. Now, let me try to sum up his discourse this evening. It has been excellent. In a way, we are all great copycats. We like to copy the way our parents behave, the way our mothers walk, the way our dad is zipping his tea. And we do that all the time. And Nitin has done the same as he was growing up. And the great inspirator for him to be disciplined, to be hardworking, to be perseverance, to be focused, to be honest, to be persistent, to be adaptable and adjustable. It all comes from the family, especially the great-grandfather. And he has also learned that we need to be focused in order to deliver results. Family power that he mentioned again and again is a sacrifice from his better half, his wife, who sacrificed her career so that he can grow, so that the family can grow as a unit. And that's very important. He even went on to tell the audience that if family is positive, if the environment is good, you have a support system that will definitely make sure that you would be successful. And that's very important. So always keep your better half very happy. Listen to what they say. Respond to their needs as you are responding to the needs of customers. As he was growing up professionally, he was he was exposed to many different cultures and ways of behavior, cuisine and people. His recommendation, and this has helped him tremendously. So his recommendation is to learn geography of India, to learn geography of the world, to understand people of different culture, appreciate their culture. No judgment, please. Every culture is beautiful. We need to understand and appreciate the way they behave. The next thing that he recommended, no job is too small. Go ahead, do it. Leaders must create leaders, and that has been the core values of Baumer. We are leaders in our areas of responsibility. When you join a company, please, 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 salary are not important. What is important is your vision, your purpose, your challenges that you want to do. And this will help propel you to great heights. Salary also are paid by your customer. Remember, they are king. You need to prove yourself with deliveries, results than words, balance between business and organization, as you must hit balance between work and family. Dr. Bakshi's program, One Dream, One Team, has been a great catalyst for Mr. Nitin's personal and professional growth and success. Thank you, Dr. Bakshi, on everyone's behalf. Your program has been excellent. Your personal values and corporate values must go hand in hand. The recommendation is when you are at home, you are a perfect Indian. When you come to work, you adapt the values and the way of the behavior of the company. That is, be professional. Elements that will help you get to the next orbit. And that's very important. You want to grow. Be a leader of your task. Be a lifelong learner. Don't be afraid to fail. Learn from your failure. Have a long-term orientation. Be adaptive and flexible. God bless. Mr. Nitin, sir, we really enjoyed your discourse this evening tremendously. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and a great thank you one more time.
Thank you so much for so kind words. Thank you so much. I'm humbled.
Thank you so much. And that has been the beauty of Acharyan himself is a leadership coach and a trainer. One dream, one team, DK Bakshi, probably we must have done around 50 programs in Asia Pacific along with Acharyan. Unfortunately, at that point of time, probably it could not be there and you could not be part of Viber. Otherwise, he's part of this, my one dream, one team. Nitin, at the end of this, ladies and gentlemen, look at discussion. Understand the leadership traits, understand the leadership challenges, and how, as Acharyan said, simply elegant way, this great leader deserves a great salute from my side to driving business excellence and business performance and people to the next level of excellence. On behalf of Global Talent and on my personal behalf, Nitin, I respect you more and more. And today's discussion has been one of the great discussions. And I will see you soon in next couple of weeks when I go to Gurgaon side to have a cup of coffee with you and share my joy of this discussions with you. Thank you.
Dr. Bakshi, count me in also. I will see you.
Yes.
Together with, we'll see Dr. Nitin for a cup of coffee together.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you so much, sir, and looking forward to receiving you at our place very soon. Thank you so much for this session and great conversation. Thank you so much.
Admiring you, Nitin.
Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen around the world, what a fascinating discussion with Nitin Vyas, the CEO MD of Weimar India, and I call him CLO, Chief Learning Officer. With that, I log out and give all of you best wishes for New Year 2021 as one of the best years of our lives. Thank you very much, Nitin. Thank you very much, Acharyan. And those who are still around, thank you for joining and look forward to seeing next session. We have Delhi Technology University Vice Chancellor next Wednesday. Thank you very much and all the best. Good luck.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Sawadee krap and good night. Have a great evening.
Sawadee krap.